everybody. This is Ramon Ray. Thanks for joining us on the Rundown with Ramon. I get today to talk to Jeannine K. Brown, who's going to help us with all the things to help us in our personal lives or our businesses, which is all I do on the Rundown with Ramon. You can get to know me better at RamonRay.com. If you want to be on the Rundown with Ramon or other platforms I do, just reach out to me on the platform you're watching, DM me, or email me, Ramon at RamonRay.com. Jeannine K. Brown, how you doing today, Jeannine? What's going on in your world? I hope you're having a peaceful day as we have this discussion. How are you, Jeannine?
Hello, Ramon. I am having a great day. And I was just thinking while you were talking, one, thank you for having me on your show.
You're
And
welcome.
two, I'm going to want to have you as my wake up call. I love all the energy you bring to
Oh,
everything. So,
anytime. You know, I've heard that before, and I'm honored. And one day, maybe you'll help me do an app or something. Good morning, Jeannine. This is Ramon. How are you today?
you need to be the voice in my iPhone.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Maybe one day I'll do that. We'll see. Let me get a few projects finished under my belt. But I've been asked that, and I'm honored that you see some value and how I show up. So I receive that. Thank you. Jeannine, help us understand a bit who you are professionally. And if you want a bit personal about yourself, introduce yourself to the Rundown with Ramon audience and also how we can find you. But feel free to start right at the top, who you are today, how we find you, who you serve. I know I asked you 75 questions just now, but I know you can handle it. The mic is
That's
yours.
all right. I got this. I got it. So I'm Jeannine K. Brown. I am a sister, a rich auntie, caregiver, friend, all of those things. Those are my favorite roles to be in. But when I'm not doing those things, I am the owner and founder of Everyday Lead. We are a global consultancy that helps companies retain talent from intern to retirement who love what they do and the companies that they work for. And we help them kind of manage their careers through workplace seminars, workshops, and executive coaching. And I am also the author of the best career book, named Best Career Book of 2022, Unstuck and Unstoppable.
Please show that somewhere.
We go. There she
Love
is.
it.
My very first written project, full book, and really excited to share this with the world and people in corporations. And I've been overwhelmed by the corporate support that we've received with companies and universities purchasing this book for their employees and students.
Let's dive right into it. Unstuck, Unstoppable. What's inside? Why should we care what's inside the wonderful pages of your latest book?
One of the things that I recognized as a corporate leader and a former hiring manager when I was at Deloitte was that no matter where you were in your corporate career, no matter where you are on the talent pipeline, people always got confused about what it took to really be successful at work. So they would see people on special projects, getting promotions, getting promoted faster than others, and making assumptions about how much money they made and their bonuses and things like that. And I said, what I recognize is most people focus on mastery. They're head down in their cubicles at their desk, getting the work done. But the only reward for doing good work is more work. It's not necessarily promotion. And so I wrote the book because I really feel like there's these wraparound skills and things that people don't necessarily understand and how to apply them to themselves in order to be successfare.
Yeah, that is so important. And so how do we go forward with that? What do you tell the corporate leader? What do you tell the individual even looking for a job? What are some steps that we can go through to get better at this, Jeannine?
One of the first thing I tell them is that you have to be a one man, one woman PR firm for yourself, for your career inside. If you are not talking about how awesome you are or how dope you are, or this project that you led, or this team, how you help your team to be successful, nobody's going to say it for you. The people that you're relying upon to share all the great things that you do to contribute to the team may not be the ones that are actually sharing that information for you. And so you have to do that. You have to be able to communicate your impact and your value in the organization. You have to build relationships with the right people, right? We can't be
With
there
the
like,
right people.
With the right people, right? And people need to know who you are. One of the things that I always tell people, sometimes we get caught in being interviewing, like we're constantly asking all the questions, but we're not sharing information about ourselves. And what we know for sure is that when people know about you, not only do they like you, they connect with you, but they actually go out of their way to identify opportunities within the organization that are perfectly fit for you because what? You've told them what you want. And a lot of us don't do that. We don't tell people what we want out of our careers and from the companies. Ramon, the best advice I got when I got promoted to manager at Deloitte, I was in our state and local tax practice. I had a partner look over me and say, "We got you because we knew you were good, and we're going to get everything we want from you. You better figure out what you want from us."
And isn't that nice and clear? So what I'm hearing you say, Jeannine, is this is two ways. This is the company's obligation is we're going to suck all from you. We're going to get every bit of knowledge, every bit of that's what they should do, right? They're paying you good salary or not, meaning whether it's McDonald's or a $250,000 position, we're going to get everything from you. But I think that person who said that was so right, because what I'm hearing, I'm just repeating what you said, is we're going to do that. Now it's your turn. What do you want? Which is a good leader, right? They're saying, we're going to pay you and get it from you. Now, how can you use this? Talk about that a bit more, Jeannine.
And I think that's the thing. A lot of people come to work and they just come to show up to work. They have aspirations, but they're secret aspirations. They don't share them. They don't know what they can ask for. They're afraid to even make an ask because they don't want to look bad. They don't want to be fired. A lot of people think, oh, if I negotiate my compensation or if I say, during my performance review, I'm ready to be promoted, this is the role I want to be in, that their boss or someone's going to be mad at them and they might get terminated. It doesn't make sense that we would take that position. And then if that's the case, is that a company you really want to work for?
That's right. So I was going to say, let's touch on this one right here. Let's assume now, I guess this works predominantly when you're working for a great company. Is there a caveat, an asterisk, working for not a bad company? Because I'm guessing you may agree, but feel free to push back. There's companies that are bad that I tell Jeannine, hey, Miss Jeannine, I really want to be manager, and she's jealous of me, wants to push me down or whatever. So let's touch on that, because I'm sure some people listening could be saying, Ramon, you don't know my boss. Ramon, you don't know my colleague. Talk about that.
You know what? There are some toxic bosses in the workplace. There are some people who, two things about them. You're so good, they don't want to see you leave because you make them look amazing.
Yes.
That is true. And they're trying to hold on to you and they're trying to give you little things. They're sprinkling crumbs all around you to satisfy you, but you know that you want more. There are those people. That is not good, but I get that piece. The other part that is really true is that there are some people who just don't want to see you win. But this is why I say you have to communicate your value so that you can be recognized for who you are by more than just one person. So imagine they're in a performance consensus meeting, managers are talking, but you have relationships with not just your boss, but with your boss's boss, the other managers on the team. You show up, you spend time with them, you communicate, you're building relationships with them, and they're all in the room saying, Ramon could be doing more. We don't want to lose him, right? That's a different conversation about we don't want to see you go, because now everybody. So how does the toxic boss say no, 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 when everybody else is saying yes, yes, yes on your behalf?
I love that. And I think the spirit of that is so good because you don't have to do it in a terrible way. You can do it very authentically. And I love how you're saying, Jeannine, because again, this tip goes for sales as well. So side note, but I work for myself. I don't have a boss like we're talking, but the same principle. When people want, Ramon, how do you deal with the biggest brands in the world? Well, because I don't only know Jenny, but in a good way. I don't bite the hand that feeds me ever, but I do know Jenny's colleague. In fact, I know Jenny's colleague's senior vice president. So about 5 or 6 people know of Ramon in some way. And you do that systematically over a 10, 20-year career, you will eat very well.
Yes, you will. And that is so true. Because even as a business owner like you, I do the same thing. I might come in the door of accounting and finance, but I'm working with the HR team, the L&D team. I'm working with sales. I'm building relationships with everyone. And I think, it feels like it might be a lot of work. And this isn't even about personality type. I don't care if you're an introvert, extrovert, ambivert, whatever. It's really about you being clear about what you want to achieve, how you want to contribute, and then you going after it and you collecting, like it's almost like putting your own band together, right? You're collecting this band of all of these different instruments, these people who are out here looking for you to support you. And I promise you it works because we do these strategies with our clients I don't care where they are in the talent pipeline. They can stay at the company that they work for if that's their desire.
Mhm.
They can get recognized for the value that they create. They get promoted, they get more money, and they get the recognition because we all want to be recognized. We
Mhm.
all want to be appreciated and acknowledged, even at work. And they do it if they follow these principles and these strategies that we outline in our book.
I love that. And again, we're talking to Jeannine K. Brown. One more time, Jeannine, let us know the name of the book, how we can reach you, in general, or the name, whatever you like. But here's why I do. Some people wonder, why does Ramon do self-promotion so much? People forget. People got to go backwards. You don't have to go backwards. Here's the time now where you're like, Ramon, what did she say? Jeannine, who are you? And tell us how we can find you in the
I
book's
am
name.
Jeannine K. Brown. I am the author of Unstuck and Unstoppable. We have 5 proven strategies that leverage your value, increase your visibility so that you can gain recognition to accelerate your career. You can reach me anytime on any social media platform at Jeannine K. Brown, or you can email me directly. I read my own emails at
Wonderful.
hello@JeannineBrown.com.
I love it. After this episode, you may not be able, you may have to hire a whole team to answer your emails. We flood the servers with email in a good way, in a
I
good way.
read my own emails. There's just something about,
Yes.
when people reach out to you and you can sincerely like give it back to them. But yeah, I would love to get 100 emails a minute and we need a
Come
whole
on.
team.
Let's go. Let's talk about 2 things as we unpack 2 more things that you mentioned. The aspect of self-promotion. Ironically, it's interesting, Jeannine, how there's parallels to whether the business world or working for a company. Because in my book, Celebrity CEO, one of the anchors I talk about is the art of self-promotion. How do you do this well in a company? Is this where, oh, me, or I did it. I came in early today. Hey everybody. I'm just saying, like, it was me who got the customer. Hello, celebrate me. And I know you don't mean that, but talk to us how we can
Hey,
self-promote and say
if
whoever, because
that
I do think it's important. It's an important thing. If you're hidden and a wallflower, you
Mhm.
haven't earned the right to be noticed. So talk to us, Jeannine.
Everybody's earned the right to be noticed, because if you got hired, you earn the right to be there, and
Fair
they
enough.
brought you there because they want you to be there, right? You belong there. And so when we think about that, I think a lot of times people don't speak up because they don't
Mm,
always experience that sense of belonging in the workplace. But I tell everybody, if you were hired, you belong. And now you just got to figure out, how do you share your story with everybody else and your impact? And it can be exactly how you described it if you want. If that's your style, do it loud and boisterous. If it's not, be subtle, but be consistent, and
mm.
making sure that you share that story all the time. When you introduce yourself, don't just say, "Hey, I'm Jeannine Brown. I'm a project manager in the IT department."
And
No.
worse, Jeannine, you put your head down. I've seen this. Hi, I'm Jeannine Brown. I work in the IT
Mhm.
department. Like, go ahead,
Yeah.
Jeannine.
Right. Even on Zoom, look straight into your camera. Tell people, I'm Jeannine Brown. I work with global companies in our IT department. I help them avoid attacks from threats all across the country through our cybersecurity services.
Mm,
It's an introduction, right? It's
that's right.
it's telling the value. Who do you work with? How do you support your clients? How do you support your company, right? Those sorts of things. And then just throughout the year, if you're working on a project, have touch-based meetings with people in your organization. Sometimes it's just that, letting people know what you're up to, what
Mhm.
you're currently working on, how you want to leverage those skills that you've developed, right? I used to do that all the time, like, hey, I'm working on this client and I did this, right? I learned something in this industry that allowed us to use this kind of technology, right? Just in a regular conversation, over coffee, over lunch. Those are the things that you do. You just drop it,
Mm,
everywhere you go. And what you'll learn, and this is what I also tell people, listen to how other successful people in your organization talk, right? They
yeah,
talk
yeah,
about the work, but they also talk about themselves. And
absolutely.
that's how I think that's the best way to do it. It's just, you can be subtle, but just be consistent, and making sure that you don't let months go by before you share with anybody what you've been able to achieve at work.
I love that, Jeannine. Let's talk about one more thing, Jeannine, and then I'll see anything I didn't ask you that you wanted to touch on. I'm sure we could talk about a lot, but anything, Ramon, I want to touch on this too. But then let's go into the aspect of you mentioned the self promotion, and then saying what you want, knowing what you want. How does that work? And that could be many different things. So, we could talk about this for hours. I'm sure you can do a whole clinic on this. But is this, if I'm working for you, Jeannine, is this, hey, Jeannine, thanks for hiring me. Just want you to know I'd love to buy a house one day, Jeannine. Or is it more, hey, Jeannine, I've been trying to get some IT training, or how does that look for me to express to my boss or colleagues? Or is it a journey? Maybe it's over time, but unpack a few ways we can say what we want. How does that work?
It is a journey.
Okay.
I think first thing you have to do is understand where you are in your level of trust within your organization and the people that you are building relationships with. I grew up in Milwaukee. I grew up with a variety of different types of people back in the day where we understood who people were culturally. So I knew if someone was German, if they were Jewish, if they were African, if they were, a Black American, all along the spectrum, right? We knew all of those things about each other. So when I started working, building relationships came very natural to me. And I grew up in a family that was well known also in Milwaukee. So I think I had maybe a little advantage that way. But I also recognize that I didn't, I didn't share my whole life, right? I didn't come into work talking about my personal relationships, my dating relationships, but the things that were important to me that I knew I could make a connection with people, I talked about. So everybody knew I loved my grandmother. Everybody knew about baby. Everybody knew my mom baked because every time I went home, I brought cakes back, right?
Yes.
So those kind of personal things people could really connect with, right? They knew I was going home. You bringing cake back? That was the sort of thing. And this is a large organization.
Yes.
But
Which builds relationships, though, builds bonds. Go ahead.
it built bonds. So when my grandmother came to visit Atlanta, guess who came to the office?
Come on
I was
now.
that Black girl. I brought my grandmother.
Yes.
She saw my office and all the stuff and then said, why you ain't got no pictures in here? I was like, that's my exit strategy. I had to pack up stuff.
Yeah.
But those are the kind of things. And I think we live in this society where we're very public on social media, but very private in places that really matters. And I think those are the ways that you connect, right? People understand your heart when they know about your relationship with your grandmother. They understand your heart when they know, when you share something intimate about your mom who bakes and you bring to work. And this is what happened to me. You mentioned a house. Raymond, when I was building my first house, perfect. I had extremely great credit, very little debt. I think I had a car note, and no significant credit card debt or anything. Long story short, I came in the office and I was really frustrated. And the partner noticed. He was like, "What's going on?" I said, "I just had a meeting with the builder and the mortgage company, and they're giving me this. They're quoting me this high interest rate." And he was like, "What are you talking about?" And I told him. He was like, "Jeannine," he just said, they're doing this because you're Black. This was a white man. He said, they're doing it because you're young and you're Black. Give me a second. Come in my office, sat down. He picked up the phone, called his banker, gave me a better interest rate. And those are the kind of things at 27, I did not know. I knew something wasn't right.
Right.
Didn't know how to deal with it really. Hadn't even told my parents about it yet. Talked to my boss and he helped me. And those are the kind of things, the relationships. And I learned a lot about money, a lot about life, a lot about traveling, all of these things I learned in the workplace because my mother didn't have an American Express card. My mother didn't travel to South America, India. She didn't travel outside of Milwaukee much. And so being in a workplace where I allow myself to be a little vulnerable, build relationships, so many aspects of my life were enhanced because I opened my mouth.
That is powerful. Jeannine, what haven't I asked you that you may want to share about? Again, this is Ramon Ray, The Rundown with Ramon. We're talking to Jeannine K. Brown, her new book. What's the name of the book again, Jeannine?
Unstuck and Unstoppable.
Yes, I thought it was Unstuck. And actually, I'm going to take a selfie with you live right now. It's not live, but hold up a little bit. I'm going to take a selfie. 1, 2. Love it. What else would you like to touch on today, Jeannine, before we conclude today's Rundown with Ramon interview with Jeannine K. Brown? What else haven't I asked you?
I think one of the things that I would tell people, no matter where you are in the talent pipeline, because even high performing, high successful people need a little partnership and help. And I would say it's never too early in your career or never too many years past in your career that you cannot partner with an executive coach. I think sometimes we think that certain aspects of career development should come from our company, but sometimes you have to make the investment yourself or negotiate with your company, because we've helped a lot of our clients negotiate to get their companies to pay for them to have an executive coach. I think getting an executive coach, making that investment, because there are things that you just don't know, you need to know, and you can do that in a safe place, unbiased impact, influence to help you. It's different than a mentor. It's different than a sponsor. It's different than your leaders in your organization. but it can make a huge difference in how fast you accelerate your career and the experiences that you have and how you show up as a business professional. So this is if you own your own business or even if you are in career, I say hire a coach.
I love this. Jeannine K. Brown has dropped knowledge on us about how to advance in our career. And I think the reverse, subliminally, how we can be better leaders. One more time, Jeannine K. Brown, can you tell us how we can reach you and etc.? I know you've said it, but say it again for those who didn't catch it.
Yeah, if you want a copy of the book, you can find that on Amazon or you can hit us up at Unstuck and Unstoppable.com and I will send you an autographed copy of the book. If you also want to email me, just hit me up at hello@JeannineBrown.com.
I love it. Jeannine K. Brown, thank you so much. Again, this is Ramon Ray. This is The Rundown with Ramon. Get to know me better at RamonRay.com. If you want to be on The Rundown with Ramon, just DM me, email me, fax me, pigeon me, whatever you want to do. Just connect with me, and you'll also be on The Rundown with Ramon. Jeannine K. Brown, I appreciate you so much. Thanks for being with us today on The Rundown with Ramon.